So this was the sound of the shofar. It is an ancient musical horn, typically made of ram's horn, and is used for Jewish religious purposes. The shofar is blown in synagogue services on Rosh Hashanah at the beginning of the year, Jewish New Year, and at the very end of the Yom Kippur, also known as the Day of Atonement, which is the holiest day of the year in Judaism. I just love it and wanted to share with you. My name is Leticia de la Paz, and I will be presenting social justice, the heart of God through Amos. So, as I mentioned, we will go over the biblical perspective of Amos on social justice, the current justice issues such as predatory lender, and how we as Christians can move forward by bringing healing to our societies or communities by helping them overcome not only this issue but also the impact of it. For I know how many your transgressions are and how great your sins. There are those who oppress the innocent and take bribe and deprive the poor of justice in the courts. Amos 5:12. A biblical perspective. A call to repentance, justice, and righteousness. Exploitation of the poor. Stewart, page 83. And defenseless by the rich and powerful that God particularly exposed through Amos' oracles, and which constitute a remarkable, frequent theme in the book. Amos prophesied along with Hosea, Joel, Obadiah, Jonah, and Micah during a period where Jeroboam II was the king of the northern kingdom, Israel, 793-753, and Uzziah, king of the south, Judah, 792-740 BC. Somewhere during the 8th century, at the Temple of Bethel, Smith, page 13, at a time of prosperity and security politically speaking as they reach military heights. 2 Kings 14:23, 15:7, and 2 Chronicles chapter 26. His writing on justice still have an effect in today's society. But how this looks like today? There are so many faces for injustice, such as discrimination, sex trafficking, etc. But for this paper, I will be talking about predatory lenders. Predatory lenders are those so-called friends that helps you go down the drain and you help them to do it. So let's take a look at it. So what is it? Predatory lender is any practice that imposes unfair or abusive terms on the borrower. Short-term cash advance loans, high-interest cash loans intended to be repaid over a set length of time, such as payday loans, credit cards, consumer credits that comes with percentage of interest on purchases or cash advances, line of credits, credit borrowed against the value of property used as collateral, such as real estate, home equity, and mortgage loans, term loans used to purchase a home or other major pieces of real estate, according to Gala Group. How it works. So they just include high interest due to a low or bad credit score and unreasonable terms and conditions and excessive fees or late payments. It's a system that can trap a person in high paying amount of money for years. For example, the so-called credit cards that help you build your credit. So how it works with a person who have a good credit score, which interest is what, between 7-10%, or a car loan between 2.5 to 5% of interest, depending on the offer of the day. A person who doesn't have a credit history or have a poor credit pays up to 27 to 45% of interest. So this is what predatory lenders do. They just take advantage of the situation. But how to know when we are prey to these predators? Here are 7 signs that U.S. action share with us that will help us identify them and identify the red flags and help us to walk away from, the situation. Let's start with the first one, which is on clear pricing and terms. So the red flag is the lack of transparency. Fees interest rates are not listed as APR or listed in a format that is hard to calculate. So normally every lender will be upfront about fees, risk, and term of the loan. Shoddy lenders may use unusual terms or formats to keep you from getting a clear sense of what's going on. The aggressive or abusive brokers. These ones brokers who don't disclose extra interest or fee or just put you into accepting a loan that you're not fully comfortable with. So verify if you're paying a kickback to the broker. Brokers use what is called the yield spread premiums. This means that they can inflate the interest rate on your loan to cover their fees. The prepayment penalty. The penalty for paying the loan off early, late fees, or fees for extra items like insurance. Remember, the lenders make money when they charge interest. So a small fee for prepaying is okay, but a big fee, it, it doesn't work. So the approval is too easy. Look for this one. This is very clear. They offer you a fast and easy approval with little or no required documentation. Actually, the lenders of good reputation require documentation including detailed information about existing finances before offering finances. The abnormal payment structure. Payments debited daily, weekly, or as a percentage of sales. Don't agree to payment terms that vary from day to day or from month to month. The short-term loans. Short-term loans may also be called payday loans, car title loans, or tax refund anticipation loans, which are similar forms of short-term cash advance with an exceptionally high APR. Loans that must be repaid in a very short time. And the last one, not willing to answer questions. Hard to contact, Dutch question about cost and terms. So reputable bankers want to work with you to help you achieve your goals. They want you to understand what you're signing up for, and they want you to be able to repay the loan. Okay, so these are some of the red flags that we should be looking for when we are making or thinking about making a loan, getting a credit card or a student loan or a mortgage. So be careful, right? And let's see what does the Bible says about it. As Christian, what is our responsibility? So this is unbelievable, a controversial issue. Because if, for example, we take the Old Testament system where the Israelites were forbidden from charging interest on loans to fellow Jews according to Deuteronomy 23:19, but they were able to charge interest on loans to foreigners. Deuteronomy 23:20. So people from their own country who were experiencing poverty did not have to pay the interest on loans because according to them that will put them further into debt, and that wasn't a beneficial for all to the economy. So which is exactly what is happening in our most vulnerable community and minorities, according to GALS, when they get this kind of loans. However, loans to foreigners were considered more of a business deal according to GAT questions. Such loans were seen as international commerce and therefore allowed. So what happened with this law was that it serves as a reminder that those in need that helping those in need is something that should be done without expecting anything in return when it comes to people from your own country. But how this looks like when it comes to those sisters and brothers from other countries who comes to this country looking for better opportunities and quality of life. In another word, for the foreigners. So, taking this and meditating on Exodus 22:25, If you lend money to my people, to the poor among you, you are not to act as a creditor to him. You should not charge him interest. So how can we reconcile these two verses, right? When it comes to lend money, or we as Christian, how this look like to us. So remember that we not necessarily need to be a lender, but how we can fulfill a family need for them to become self-sufficient, independent, and advocated for their rights will be the correct question. How this look like to everybody in a society, in a country, in a community? How can we help? How can we stop the impact that this in the long term will have? So let's take a look at the impact. So the price that vulnerable communities are paying are actually higher than any interest that they can pay in a loan, because they must deal with unaffordable payments to fulfill their needs, such as paying bills, rent, and putting food on the table for some families. And this overall has a domino effect that can lead families to lose valuable properties, such as their vehicles. And having no vehicles, depending on the work area, many can lose them, right? Others, when they can no longer pay the loan, ended up losing their homes. So we have an eviction here, right? We have a losing of jobs here. So um, others, when so our communities are becoming increasingly remote, and eventually the economic impact is graded for all. So what we can do about it, right? As Christian, what we can do to help our community, our people, not only our people from the religious community, but also the community per se, right? How can we bring them the gospel of justice and love and inclusion that help them to avoid um, go to these lenders and do this kind of loans? Let's start by education. Education for me is one of the best tools. Awareness of predatory lenders should be key, right? And we can do this by going to the local banks and reach out for financial professionals. Also, if you're already in the situation, just inform yourself about laws and regulation against these institutions. There is a great Christian actually article in regards regulations and law. It's called Warnings Predatory Lenders, a proposal for candid predatory small loans ordinances by Christopher Peterson. In addition to this, help others to create consciousness about the impact this can have in a short and a long term. Use the budgeting system. This is so important. Be aware of your financial condition and teach them how to manage their finances, right? So taking action and moving forward, what we can do. Well, as Clauson stated on page 26, ethical consumption, the application of our moral values and ethical standards to our consumer habits. This is very important because we are Christian 24 hours, 7 days a week. So in everywhere, every place, every time, all the time, we should have the same morals, values, and ethical standards, right? And especially when people are not believers, and we want to bring them a healing, an opportunity, uh, just hope, right, in their situation. So also by supporting existing organizations and creating programs that help them overcoming, the issues. Um, the heart of God, Amos 5:24. But let justice roll on like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream. So he calls us to be righteous always and in all places. As children of a just God, we must act as such. Jesus Christ was most of the time supplying the needs of the people, preaching a gospel of action that will transform the life and the environment of those who receive it. Let us be the light that shines in the dark, bringing a gospel that transforms the heart and mind of men so that they in turn transform others. And I want to close this presentation with one of my favorite quotes by Marianne, and it's called Our Deepest Fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that must frighten us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the word. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure about around you. We're all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Thank you.